Hey everybody, how you doing? Mark here, standing in my kitchen, ready to make dinner yet again tonight. And tonight we're going to do a country style rib with a chipotle raspberry glaze. Stick around and I'll show you exactly what to do. Okay, first of all, I want to tell you exactly the cut that we're using. We're using what my butcher calls a country style pork rib. This is not an actual rib, okay? It's kind of cut from the rib area, but it's not, like a St. Louis cut or a baby back cut or anything like that, okay? You can get these with a rib bone attached to them. I've seen them that way. Mine are actually boneless. You do not actually have to use this cut, okay? You can use pork chop, you can use tenderloin, you can use ham steak if you want. But today what I want to do is I'm going to actually use the country style rib that my butcher supplies for me. And yeah, if your country style ribs don't look this way, that's fine. I think there are some butchers that use a slightly different cutting method, but any pork, even chicken, will work just fine in this recipe. Okay, so I want to make these ribs for dinner tonight, and in order to do that, I actually want to marinate the ribs in the chipotle raspberry glaze, okay? I actually want it to kind of penetrate in and get into the fibers of the meat. And then we're actually going to grill it, okay? I've done this recipe before, and I've done it just on a stovetop. We're not going to do that today. We're actually going to grill, so yeah. All right, let me show you what I got. Okay, to start with, I've got roughly 2 3/4 pounds of the country style rib. Normally my butcher would have a pack that's basically this size with all the stuff in it, but they didn't have the bigger pack, so I bought 2 smaller ones. If you want to use a pork chop, get a nice thick cut pork chop and get 4 to 6, and that will be really good for this recipe. Here I have a peach raspberry jelly, okay? It doesn't have to have the peach in it, but I thought that would be a nice little flavor in the whole thing, but I'm just calling it a raspberry glaze. So I need a 1/2 cup of a raspberry jelly. I only need 2 chipotle peppers with the adobo sauce, okay? Don't just get dry chipotle peppers. Get the stuff in the can in the adobo sauce. This is oil. I'm using just a olive oil. It's not extra virgin or anything like that. You can use canola oil, corn oil, whatever you want. Here is a raspberry vinegar. Okay, it is a balsamic vinegar. You do not have to use balsamic if you do not want to, but this is what I have in my cupboard. I'm going to do a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper and then a 1/2 teaspoon of your favorite seasoning. We're going to use the Southwest Chipotle Mrs. Dash. For your seasoning, you can use whatever you want. Use your favorite BBQ Rub or anything like that. Go low sodium, go with sodium. It doesn't really matter. I'm going with the low sodium just because Jen is eating with us tonight. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut open my meat and stick it in a zip top plastic bag. Now, I would suggest when you put them in here, kind of be methodical about it and try to get it to where it's just going to be one layer. You don't really want to have, 2 pieces, one on top of another. I'll just throw the trays away. All right, give me a second just to wash my hands. Okay, got my hands all washed up. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to measure everything out into a bowl and get the marinade made. All right, so the first thing I'm going to measure out is the raspberry jelly. Get a half a cup here. I think that looks close enough, don't you? Okay, then I'm gonna measure out a tablespoon of oil, just like that. Measure out my tablespoon of the raspberry vinegar. Then I'm going to measure my 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. And finally, my 1/2 teaspoon of seasoning blend of whatever you want. Okay, I'm just going to give this a quick little stir together. Okay, so that's mixed together pretty well. Now the last thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to get 2 fairly small adobo chilies. You can use just one big one if you'd like. So I'll get that one. That one looked a little big. And that one. Those look fairly small. All right, now I'm actually going to cut these up. I'm not worrying about the seeds or anything. I do want to chop it fairly fine. So I'll go back and forth a couple of times. Okay, there we go. And now I'm going to just scrape that into my bowl. Try to get as much of that adobo sauce with it. And I'll give that a little stir in too. All right. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to pour this all over the meat. Scrape it all out of there, get all that goodness. All right, now I'm going to close up the bag. And I'm just going to smear it around, make sure everything gets coated well. Lay it back out, make sure everything's laying flat and not overlapping each other. I'm going to pop the bag open just briefly here. Just try to push out as much air as I can. I want really good contact over all the surfaces of that meat. Okay, now we're going to put this in the refrigerator and let it sit for at least 6 hours. 8 would be great, 12 would be even better. So let's get it in the fridge. Now you could put this on a tray and slide it in here, but I am not going to do that. Okay, there we go. All right, I know what you're thinking. I know what you're just screaming at your screen right now is, Mark, what are you going to do with all those leftover chipotle peppers? You bag it up. See, even got it labeled. The only thing I didn't put on there was today's date, but I'll probably use it up before it goes bad. Then you just stick it in the freezer until you need it again. There. Good on omelets, breakfast casseroles, anything you want. Okay everybody, it's getting to be that time. I want to run outside and start getting my grill ready, and I'm going to show you how I go about doing that. I kind of go about a different way. I don't use heat guns, I don't use blow torches. I don't use matchlight charcoal or anything like that. So I've just kind of got a different way of doing it, and I like it. So I'll show you exactly what I do there. This other stuff I've got over on the counter, that is for the rice pilaf that I'm going to make tonight. It's going to have rice, cilantro, some seasonings, and peas, carrots, and corn. It's just a couple of bags that I actually had left over sitting in the freezer, so I might as well just throw them in the rice and make a pilaf, right? Right, let's go. Okay, so I have just a little flyer newspaper here. It's not a full-fledged newspaper, but you know, if you got it laying around, you can use that if you want. I've learned that on my grill and how I load up my charcoal, it takes about 3 good pieces. So that's exactly what I got here. Here's that olive oil, and I'm just going to do that. That's all I need. Then you just wad it up. Squeeze it nice and tight, really distribute that oil all around the paper. Now what's going to happen is when I go to light this, the oil will actually make the paper burn longer and a little bit hotter, so it'll have time to start the charcoal. Speaking of which, we need to get out there and get the charcoal in the grill. Let's go. Okay, so now I'm going to set up my grill to do a direct heat cooking, okay? Which means that I'm going to have heat covering the entire bottom of my grill. And I use a chimney starter to start my charcoal. And what I do with the newspaper that we put the oil on, just kind of open it back up a little bit. That way it's not in such a tight little ball. Stuff it underneath. Pour the charcoal in, and I'm actually going to fill the charcoal, or I'm going to fill the chimney, I mean. All right, so as you can see, I got my chimney full of coal now, and now I just need to strike one match and light the paper at the bottom of the chimney. Okay, one match light. And there it goes. Now I'm going to give this probably a good 20, maybe even 30 minutes for the coal to get really white and everything's all burning. And so yeah, I'm just going to let this sit. We got to go back inside and start working on our rice. All right, so let's start the rice up. What I have here in the pot is about 1 gallon of water. This is maybe 5 quarts. I think that's the size of it. Just set that on high, okay? Again, that's what they say not to do with these Michelangelo pots, is to put it over a high heat. How do you boil water if you're not over high heat? I'm not going to wait that long. Anyway, high heat, boil the water. Okay, real quick, what I have here, I have 3 bags of rice. This is roughly like 7 and something ounces of total. This is that boil in a bag style rice. So yeah, about 7.5 ounces total between the 3 bags. All right, so right here I've got a bottle of Ken's famous Cajun seasoning. I actually got this from Ken. He's a good friend of mine, owns a restaurant, Keystone Bar and Grill in Cambridge, Wisconsin. And he'll set you right on smoked foods, you know, ribs, brisket, pulled pork, stuff like that. Really good chicken. But he loves his Cajun seasoning. I've got a little bit of cilantro here. I'm going to chop it up real quick. I'm going to need about half a teaspoon of lemon zest. So I'm just going to zest it. I don't need any lemon juice. For the peel-off aspect of the rice, I've got a little corn and a little bit of peas and carrots. I'm just going to add this to the rice. No big thing. And that's it. That's all we got to do for the rice. So let me cut up my cilantro. And yes, this is all you need to do. You don't need to roll it up in a bouquet garni or anything like that. You just chop the shit out of it. And I'm going to say that that is good enough. It doesn't have to be picture perfect or anything like that. Notice I have plastic wrap on the grating. Now these are the small holes of the grating side of my grater. And just going to take off a little bit. Okay, now, hope you guys can see all that. So that's all the zest. I've taken off the lemon. So there's the lemon that I'm going to use for the rice. I don't need to juice it or anything. I'm just going to throw it over here in the cilantro. I'll wrap this in plastic wrap and throw it right back in the refrigerator. Because, you know, you can still use the juice of the lemon even though it's got no zest. All right, let's run back outside and see how the grill's doing. Okay, as you can see, the chimney's still going. It's just a lot of smoke. The flames are starting to lick up a little bit, so everything's looking good out here. Well, let's go back inside. Okay, so the next thing I want to do, I got my country style ribs out of the refrigerator. And what I want to do is I actually want to take all the leftover juice, all the extra stuff, and put it in a saucepan, and we're going to make a nice little sauce glaze out of it. So let's do that. Yep, it's the one thing guys don't like seeing. Another guy putting on some gloves. All right, so what we're going to do now, there's quite a bit of the marinade that's already gotten into the meat, so I'm going to actually kind of squeegee off some of it into the pot and then put it there, because there's plenty of flavor that the meat has already soaked up. And I want some of these tidbits and stuff in my sauce. I'm not doing this real harshly or anything like that. Some of the sauce is still sticking. And this should be my last piece. Okay, there we go. Now all this other stuff here, I'm going to put that right in the sauce pot as well. Now, there's not a whole lot in there, but that's all we need. Sorry guys, I forgot to hit the record on the button. I was sitting there talking to you and realized it wasn't even recording. But what I did is I just put in about 2 tablespoons of water in there. And what we're going to do is we're going to put this on a burner over medium-low heat, just to simmer it, get it to boil and reduce down. All right, so let's go back outside. The charcoal should be ready now. We can spread that out on the bottom of the grill, get our grates in place, and get those heated up. Yeah, I would say that the fire is ready. All right, what we're going to do now, just dump it all out. Oh. There we go. All right, now we can get our grill grates on here. These will take maybe 10 minutes or so to heat up. Let's go back inside. All right, so I kind of got a little bit ahead of myself with the rice, so I killed the heat right now. The water was already boiling. I didn't need it boiling quite yet. So what do I want to do? All I want to do is get out some tongs and get the meat ready to be taken outside. You know, the reason I got off on getting everything at the right time is just because of the filming. I got to carry the camera in and out, in and out, in and out. And I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to do all that. So I started the water way earlier than I needed to. So, but it's no big loss. It's not like I really need the water in an ingredient, okay? It's just a cooking method, so. All right, so what are we gonna do? We're gonna grab the meat and go back outside. Let's go. All right, guys, I tell you, what I like about these country style ribs is that they cook like a steak, okay? High heat, sear them off, maybe like 5 minutes on each side. That's it. That's all it's going to take. And my grill is nice and hot. All right, I got the biggest, fattest piece here, put it right in the middle. Next biggest piece, right next to that. And you don't have to close the lid or anything, just leave it open. If you start getting flare-ups, then you just shut the lid, okay? So 5 minutes on this side, flip them over, 5 more minutes. All right, so I'm gonna give this a quick cleaning because I can use the pan to bring the meat back in. Okay, the other thing I'm going to do too is I'm going to start heating up my little marinade sauce here. Just going to put it on about a 6, so slightly medium high. Okay, so my water is coming up to a boil in my pot here, so I am going to take my rice packets. The whole packet goes right in the water, there, just like that. And then the other thing I want to add too is I want to add my frozen peas and carrots and corn, so these will cook as well. Okay, there's peas and carrots. Here's the corn. All right, so I want to bring this up to a boil, and we're going to time this out for 8 minutes. And then we'll pull out the rice bags, we'll strain off the water, get the vegetables out, and then we'll add the lemon and the cilantro and the seasoning, and then just kind of stir it all together. Good, good. Let's go back outside and check on those ribs. Oh, I'm not used to working around a light. And actually, I don't even have it turned up all the way. Okay, so here are our ribs. Oh yeah, I got a nice char going on them. Loving it, loving it, loving it. Whew, that's hot going that way. Okay, looks like I'm getting a little more heat on this end than I am down on this end, so. But yeah, looking good, looking good. I like that char. Now a lot of people are going to sit there and say, oh, you're burning the hell out of it. That's going to taste like shit. No, no, no. That's blackened, okay? That is caramelization at its best right there. And a lot of that is because of that jelly that we used as the marinade. That's the stuff that's really turning black. But trust me, this is going to taste fabulous. The other thing to think about too when you're cooking your country style ribs is that you can cook pork just like you do beef, okay? You can cook it rare, medium rare, well done, just like beef. All right, let's take a look at these and see how they're doing. They should be just about done. I'll give them a little finger poke. Actually, probably more done than I would like, but not bad either. All right, let's get these pulled off. All right, let's get the pan and the meat inside. There's so much moisture in here from the boiling pot that my glasses are fogging over, but everything should be done. Take that out. I want to get, oh, shut up. I also turned on the burner for my sauce here, and that's actually looking pretty good. I'll show you that here in a moment. In fact, I'm going to turn it off now. Okay. So this, take the tongs, grab the bag. Okay. So the rice is just in the bag right now. I've got a small little strainer here to catch the peas, carrots, and corn pieces. There, just like that. Take a fork, rip open the bags. You almost never use this instant rice stuff, so this is kind of different for me. Okay. Sorry, you're not actually seeing what I'm doing, are you? There is the 3 bags of rice. Just going to give that a little toss and get all the white and brown rice combined. I'm going to throw in the cilantro and lemon zest. Give that a little bit of a toss. There's plenty of heat in the rice to cook up that stuff. I mean, I'm already smelling that lemon. It's pretty strong stuff. Gonna measure out about a half a teaspoon of seasoning. Throw that in there. Plus, throw in my drained vegetables. Now again, just give it a little toss. How was that for a rice pilaf? Man, that was easy, easy, easy stuff. Boom. Yeah, that looks good. All right, I say it's time to eat. All right, I just wanted to show you that sauce that I made. A little bit of a glaze. Yeah, that looks pretty good. You only need like a tablespoon on each piece, so it doesn't take much. All right, so let's dish up. I, of course, usually go for the big piece, so I am going to put that on there. Come in here, grab some of this. Just a nice little sploosh of that sauce on there. You don't need a lot of that sauce. It's very potent stuff. Come in here, grab some of this lemon cilantro rice pilaf. Yeah, that looks good. That's a good dish right there. All right, guys, here we go. Chipotle raspberry country style ribs with a rice pilaf with lemon and cilantro. Of course, let's try this rice first. I've never really done those bagged rice things before, so let's see what it's got. Lots of lemon. Getting a little kick out of that Ken's Cajun. That's really good stuff, Ken. I like it. All right. Let's get into the meat of it. Get it? Meat of it. A little hard to cut with a fork, but I mean, oh my God, that's good. That is really good. That Chipotle is just like right in the mouth. Wow. And the raspberries there, you can taste that fruitiness from it. You get that spice from the Chipotle peppers and the adobo. Oh, wow. Now, I've had this before, and we did it on pork chops, but we cooked it on the stovetop. Okay, just did a pan sear on them. Cooking them outside on the grill took it to a whole new level. Wow. All right, this is Mark saying thanks again for watching. Stay tuned next week. I'm hoping to get out on Glacial Drumlin Trail next week, so stay tuned for that. Plus, I'm also hoping to get on my first motorcycle ride this year. That'd be great if the weather cooperates. It's so hard to tell when it gets to be this time of year, so you don't know if you're getting the snow or rain, or if it's going to be 15 degrees or if it's going to be 50 degrees. You just never know. So stick around, keep on coming back, guys. I always got videos every week on Wednesdays. All right, thanks for watching. See you on the road. Bye.